Are you gonna? Hey, what's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? Welcome to KFL Tonight. It's your boy Jigmaster. Signing on, man. I've missed you guys. It's been a while. I haven't been on here in a while. I've missed doing the KFL Tonight. Uh, who we got on here with us right now? We got Big Gun. What's up? Big Gun's up in Michigan, getting ready for their matchup up against Detroit on the world famous St. Clair. You know. Uh, I'm jealous of that one. Who else we got? We got Jeremy Baker. Oh my God, it's Coley McGowan. Let me show you this. Look at this dude right here. Oh my God, it's Coley McGowan. Exactly, man. Coley's a beast. Um, everybody, somebody, in the comments, everybody check in. Let me know. Let me know who's with us, man. Where you checking in from? Do your boy a favor, hit that like and share button. So we can get this thing out here. Yeah, I missed you guys, man. I've missed KFL. These breaks, these 2 week breaks or 3 week breaks, however long it's been, makes it feel like an eternity. Oh, freaking eternity. But Kyle Burns is checking in with us. What up, Kyle, man? Uh, who we got? We got Bruce Levy checking in from Mass in the house. Okay, Mass. Okay, Mass. Everybody, Massachusetts is on the map now, bro. Everybody knows about Massachusetts nowadays because all them hammers up there making all the noise, making all the noise. So we got week 5 coming up, man. Week 5 of the inaugural season of KFL, and it's been exciting. We've had our ups, we've had our downs with team. What I mean by we, I mean each team. My team just took its first L in week 4. It was rough. It was close, a nail biter, but we lost. We got who else we got? We got the man himself, Mr. Matt Conant, checking in. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Triple Crown. Brian Sparks, what's up, baby? What up, B? Um, so yeah, man, like the league is shaping up, man. I'm actually gonna go to pull up the what is it? Uh, the standings or the standings, so we can see what how everybody's looking, how each team is looking. Um, some teams still in it. Some teams, are pretty far out of it. We're not going to say that they don't have a chance, but let's just say, barring any catastrophic implosions by some teams, there's some teams that going to start thinking about next season. You know, and that's just the truth of the matter. You know. Hopefully, this season is going to tell us what kind of record you can come back from. This season is going to teach us a lot, man. We're gonna learn from this season whether we need to have more matches, so on and so forth. I had a couple, well, really one public service announcement I need to make. While I'm pulling this up. Um, So it looks like I've had quite a few people reach out to me having questions about, you know, how to get a team. And, just for everybody who's watching, if someone's watching who's thinking about getting a team together, or if you know someone who's trying to get a team together, what up, Justin? Um, Now's the time to do it. If you have a team ready, or you have a team, you're trying to get a team together, now is the time to start planning for it. I talked to Greg earlier, and we discussed putting that out, man. Get your teams together. We'll probably reshare the graphic that shows where we need teams at. But if you can you can get a team together, and you know, you need some info, or you just want to learn some things, just hit me up or hit Greg up. We can give you that. We can give you that. You know, that backup of what you need, or what's required, or what we need, so on and so forth. Right now is the time to do it. We're in week 5. Playoffs is very fastly approaching. So it better to get a jump on it early now, as in before this season's over, and we can start doing the backstage stuff to get it ready. Again, if you want to get a team together, now's the time to do it. Get your teams ready. Hit me up or hit Greg up for some info on how what the teams need or what's required or whatever the case may be. I am struggling pulling up this standings. Jeez, my internet is being super slow. But we really need some teams in the South, right? We're really looking for some teams in the Georgia area, the South Carolina area, Tennessee area. Those will really help out the league and traveling for teams, because some teams have to travel very far to get to their matchups. And that's mainly due to the fact that we don't have teams in those connecting areas so that they don't have to travel so far. Like this week, we have a visiting team of the Florida Copperheads, and so Florida's coming up to Virginia to face us on Saturday, and that's a long ride. I mean, I think the guy closest to the close to the Georgia line or whatever, furthest north teammate has got a 10-hour drive from where he is to Virginia, and everyone else on his team, which he said is further south than he is. So that just, we're just looking for ways to alleviate some of that long travel. But looks like we got our guy, the guy who you guys tuned in for, just logged on. We got him in the background, so I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna bring him on. Justin Staley said we need some Midwest teams. Hey, if you got a team out in the Midwest, man, get it together. Bring it on in. Just Staley said 10 hours for Indy Knights headed to Alabama. Exactly. So, Midwest, the South. I had people hit me up about creating teams out in California. I was like, well, I'm not making that trip unless y'all gonna fly me out and provide me with a kayak. That's a long drive from Virginia. I made it. But anyway, enough talk, man. We're gonna bring on the beast himself. What's up, Coley? How you doing?
What's happening?
Man, I can't complain. How's everything going?
Pretty good. Just ready to get it on Saturday.
I bet you are, man. I bet you are. Your Alabama Hammers 4-0, man. 4-0. First in the South. Did you see this prior to the season? Did you see that being?
Yeah, I knew our guys. I don't think really anybody expected us to be that way, or to do that good. But I think that everybody's starting to see how well our team is put together. Everybody on our team is that guy. So, everybody's strengths. We've got, guys that are good at one thing, guys that are good at another. So it's kind of kept us well balanced. But yeah, I think people are starting to see that these guys on this team are legit.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. People are starting to see that the Alabama Hammers are for real. Just, the whole team seems like it's just beast mode. Not just first in the South, man. If it was just a straight up standings for both conferences, you guys would be holding down first overall, especially with your win-loss spread, which is pretty impressive. I want to say it's like what, over 200 or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't know it like you don't know. You know the exact number.
It's somewhere up there north of 200.
Yep, my computer's being stupid, so I got to pull it up on my phone. People, I apologize, but yeah, it's here it is. So your win-loss spread right now is 275 inches and 275 and a half inches, really. And that's just straight up impressive. Excuse me, you guys are 3-0. I guess I'm thinking about what's coming this weekend. I'm already calling the match. That wasn't my pick, people. I was just saying I thought they were already 4-0. That's my fault. But you're riding high, bro, coming off a big finish at Pickwick, man. Congratulations, by the way, on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I saw a couple of your posts from it, and I saw that you said that you didn't really have a great practice for it.
No, I did not. We went up the weekend before and pre-fished, and I had all this in my head. I was like, well, they should be doing this, they should be doing that, and I couldn't, just make it happen. I was just trying to force something to happen, and I was like, I just need to go do what I like to do, and fish grass and cypress trees, and just stayed shallow pretty much the entire time, and it just started falling together. I fished really clean, which really helped me a lot. I only lost 2, and really one of them missed it by a foot, and then another one I had it and it just come off at the kayak. So I was just thankful for what the bites I did get. I got them in the boat. But it turned out to be a pretty sweet event. I mean, it was kind of like a practice on tournament day. I mean, it was just I'd never fished that area before. And I had, looked at it on the map, and I was like, it looks sweet. And it just looked right up my alley. So I was like, well, we're just going to go with it. We're going to fish our strengths and, fish a good looking area and figure it out as we go. So.
Yeah, man. And it worked out really. I mean, second place finish. And I think what was the spread between you and first place? How far was it?
He had like 92 and some change, and I had 88.5. So he had about 4 inches on me. I think it was 92 and a quarter or something like that. And I kind of figured it up in my head. I was like, I just didn't have the bites to beat him. It would have been a lot closer than what it was, but no excuses. I didn't have, the bites to take it over, nothing like that. But it would have been a lot closer. But that's how it goes.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's how it goes, man. You said a couple interesting things that I'll circle back around to, but just for you're well known in your area as being a pretty good, consistent stick. For the people watching or the people who may watch this later on, who are either just getting into bass, beginners or beginners at tournament fishing, what advice would you give them on preparation for a tournament, or preparation just for going out for a good day on the water?
Preparation.
I guess that's my way of asking. Hey, so what's Coley's preparation schedule like when he's preparing for a match?
Oh man, if I'm map studying, I read maps, and I've got like 3 or 4 different maps I use on my phone and Google Earth and everything. I just break down. Everybody's got a certain style, and I think when you find out what your style of fishing is, whether it be slow or fast, it's hard. You need to be well-rounded. I understand that, and I'd like to say most of us on the team are, but everybody's got their strength in some part. So I think putting time, I know everybody wants to put practice on the water. I think a lot of your practice should be focused more of off the water, kind of, if that makes sense, like map reading.
Absolutely.
And, planning ahead, and forecast, and weather conditions and time of year. And because the fish, if you can get on what the fish is doing, you can catch them. It's just you just gotta fish your strengths, be in the right area. If you can't just show up somewhere and go, well, this is what I'm doing today. You might do good, but there's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes into it, as far as reading maps and studying up on that, and lake levels, and current flow, if there's any current, if you're on like a chain of where it's got powerhouses or whatever. And I think that would be my favorite thing to do, as far as I put so much time in it, like week in, week out. It's just looking ahead. Like I'm already looking ahead for the Bassmaster Classic. Don't even know where it's at. Just trying to get as much information as I can on the lake surrounding Hartwell. So just that's the way I like to prepare for an event or something like that, is just because I don't have a lot of time to get on the water, as far as like for bigger events and stuff like that, for practice, because we all work, and it's hard to take off a week, or go pre-fish weeks ahead, or something
Absolutely.
like that. So you got to be smart with your time, And I think, going in with a game plan of having an A, B, C, and even D plan, leading up to an event, that way you can just kind of check them off the box as you go.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. Like, the time of year is gonna, like you said, is gonna play a part, and then putting in that map study. And I'm with you, man. It's not just the navionics, however you want to say it, map study. Like, in my opinion, I agree. Like, looking at Google Maps, like not Google Maps. I'm sorry, Google Earth. And Derek Brundle, I don't know if you caught his interview we had with him. Like, this is probably like a month ago, but I learned something from that interview we had with him, and he was talking about, like, when you're looking at Google Earth, or you go on Google Maps and you're looking down the street where there's a ramp at, turn and go down that street and look and see if you see boats, see if you could tell what they're doing in the still or whatever. And it's funny because he was like, look at them and tell if you can tell if the guy looks like he knows what he's doing or not. But it's funny. I've had a guy on my team told me something I never would have thought about. Go to wouldn't work right now because of COVID, but go to your local tackle shops that are in the area and look at what baits or whatever are in low or not. I guess there aren't a lot of on the shelf, right? Or what colors in this bait, stuff like that. I mean, right now with COVID, everything's in.
Oh yeah,
everything's gone for the most part.
I agree with that too, because I do that myself. Like, especially when I've been out to Texas and stuff like that. You have the stuff around your house and what you can order online that that you constantly have, and then sometimes it's what it takes going out of town or going somewhere that like when we went up to Randleman, they were using things around there that, like, colors and stuff like that what I was using just wasn't the colors that they liked. And some bait shops around there had some stuff that worked, and I was like, I've never seen that color, or I've heard of it or never had any in my box. And so I agree with that, as far as sometimes it's just something different.
Yes, sir.
It's a sweet bait, just whatever you can find what they like. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I've always been a guy myself, Coley, that prior to this year and last year, I just went out and fished, right? I understood bass, I understood seasonal patterns, their movements, but I never really put much map study into it, or I didn't do the homework portion of it. And it was a teammate of mine who just opened my eyes to it this year and last year, and it's expanded it's made me way more efficient. Like you said, we work, man. Like, we don't have the ability to go out and spend a week pre-fishing prior to a tournament. We may get 2 to 3 days at best before that tournament to do some pre-fishing, or the weekend before. So it's just being efficient, man. Like, being efficient with your time and being able to get out there and cut down on going from ramp to ramp to ramp to search on stuff. Do your map study, find your areas, and go see if you can fish your strengths in that area, like you said.
Yeah, that's all it is, breaking it down.
So for Pickwick, man, won't you walk us through how practice went and how you were feeling going into tournament day?
Well, I fished. Me and my father-in-law stayed together, and we fished together. And he got 30th, so hats off to him. He cashed a check.
Oh, nice.
And so we, we're two total opposites when it comes to fishing style. So that really works in our favor. When you're in an event like especially this team thing, it's you might have somebody on them, or and you can kind of give hints or help your buddy out or whatever. And he went one way and I went another, and he zeroed in practice, and then I caught 3. We fished an entire day, a Saturday, from sun up to sundown. We were just beat. I'd had enough. I caught one good one, and then I caught a decent fish, and then I caught a short fish. And I was like, man, I'd found a bunch of fish, and that was my thing, is I found them, and I got in my head like, I found the winning bag. I know I did, but I just couldn't get them to bite. And they were chasing bait around me. I seen them, and people were pulling up on their boats and fishing that general area, not getting anything and leaving. So I don't know if it was just timing. The timing was wrong when I found them. But I stayed on them for about 3 hours, and I worked a about a 200-yard stretch. I'd go up and come down, and I fished different levels, of depth out, and just couldn't make it happen. And I just got frustrated and told my father-in-law, I said, I've had enough of today. I know where I'm not fishing Saturday. So we went back to the drawing board, and I had a couple of different areas that I wanted to try. And I was trying to force the offshore thing. I really was. And I know they were there, but it's just that offshore thing. You know how so many people will tell you that it's just that magical moment when they're feeding. I mean, like the guy at one, for instance, he had like 91 and something inches and by 7 o'clock. So, in a little over an hour, he had 91 and something inches. And, and he said he stayed on them all day, the entire day. He would fish this 300-yard section. And they were totally opposite of what he had found in practice when me and him talked afterwards. And he said, that he just saw a sign. And, he went for it, and they had moved up a little shallower than what he had found them in. Because I think he'd found them like, pretty good depth, like around 20 feet. So I was like, he did very well in that. And then, I did shallow. And then so I told my father-in-law, I said, I know these fish are in this grass. I know they are. So I'm just going to fish a different area with a little bit more current. And I'm going to fish some cypress trees along the way. So, some current coming around those cypress trees. So, pulled up on my first spot, and I was throwing a wacky rig. And I caught a 19, like my first 30 minutes, skipping around trees. And I was like, oh, if they do this, I'm fine doing this all day.
Yeah, man.
And so I caught that one, and then I was catching a couple small ones that were short, like you always do in a wacky rig. And I was like, all right, well, this ain't gonna work. So I went back to grass, and believe it or not, I caught I think it was like a 16-inch smallmouth on a grass line that I for sure thought I had a giant largemouth the way it was pulling. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never expected to catch a smallmouth in grass, and that's just how crazy that place is. And I caught that one, and I was like, well, man, there's a little bit of current around this grass, I mean, there wasn't a lot of current. There really wasn't, but there was enough, just enough to keep them there. And I just kept fishing that same stuff the entire day, and just every bite I'd get, I was like, I need that one. And so I didn't get a ton of bites. I may have caught, I don't know, 12 to 15 fish, a lot of short fish. But hey, it paid out. It paid off. So.
Absolutely, man. Obviously, hey, you said something I wanted to circle back on and highlight, man. You said you got into fishing something that you thought that you knew that they should have been doing, right? And you tried to force a pattern that wasn't there for you, man. That's I feel like that's a huge thing, because I feel like a lot of us, we do that all the time. Like, how many times have we hit the water because we're looking at the conditions, we're looking at the time of year, the patterns that maybe you've been on in the past, or whatever the case may be, and you're like, the fish should definitely be here doing this. And maybe you go to that spot and you see fish, like you see them on the finder, and you're like, they're here. But, after spending a couple hours trying to get them to bite, man, at some point you have to realize that, hey, it's either I missed the window while I was here, I fished at the wrong time, or this school is just not active, and this can't be something that I'm spending 3 hours on during tournament day trying to get one bite just because I see them there. And I've got wrapped around that axle before during the tournament.
It'll definitely take you down, that's for sure. I mean, that's one thing I've learned as far as in events, especially one-day events.
Mm-hmm.
You're swinging for the fences on that one day. I mean, you've got to get the most you can, so there's no saving anything. And, when I found that many fish, I was like, me and my father-in-law were amazed. We were like, there's fish everywhere over here. I mean, they were busting shad, and, we could see them, boiling on the surface. And, I mean, I had them coming up and, chasing a top water, couldn't get them to eat it. I mean, it was driving me nuts. And then, we backed off and give them a different look. I even left for like 30 minutes and came back when the sun got a little higher, and I know they were there. I don't know if it was that magic window I missed, if it was maybe my bait size, my color. I don't know what it was. I changed out multiple things, but it just wasn't happening. I don't know if it was one of those spots, but that's one thing I've learned is, the more I fish is that, never get away from your strength. Like, your fallback plan of, if nothing's happening, I'm fine losing, but I want to lose throwing what I like to throw best. So I told my father-in-law, I was like, hey, I know I can get bites on this. If I fish enough of this good-looking stuff, I'm sure I'm going to run across 5. It just may not be the right ones, but, that's just part of it. And I think that's what has helped me a lot in these tournaments is being able to just scratch my game plan and just, okay, I'm going to do this and just not second guess it. Because if I start second guessing myself, I start, I get in that like lull of like, am I doing the right thing? And, well, I need to go back and do that. Because it's hard to leave fish to go look for fish. And that's one thing that's killed me is like,
yes, it is.
I know that there's so many fish where I found them, but I'm like, just forget it. They're just might as well not even be there. And just, go fish some new water that I haven't seen and just try to put the puzzle together. And that's helped me more times than I can count. I mean, just scratching a plan.
Absolutely, man. That mental game is huge in this, man, especially when you're talking about tournament fishing. Huge. And it's not just, a lot of people think the mental game just means, keeping your confidence up during the day. Now, it's more into it than that, I think. Making the right call off of your stuff you're seeing is part of that mental game. Losing a big fish and being able to move on from it and learn from it. I think it was KVD, man. KVD, I was watching KVD, and it was an interview he did. I think it was on Ike Live. And the biggest thing, they were talking about a story where he lost to like a 10-plus pound fish. And he had Pete in the back. Pete was his co-angler. And he was like, he looked up at Kevin after he lost, after that fish spit the crankbait. And Kevin just took his rod and just cast it out again. And he kept fishing, didn't even speak about the fish until like 30 minutes later. He was like, man, that one would have helped.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's huge, man. I mean, I remember the Murray tournament, the KBF this year at Murray. On the second day of it, I lost a 10-plus pound fish. Came up and spit my jig at the net. And this was like within the last hour and a half. It would have been like I want to say it would have been like a 10-inch call. And spit the jig, and I had like an hour and a half left, but I was gone. I was like done. I couldn't focus anymore. I was just down. I learned from that tournament, man. I feel like you learn from the mistakes or the bad tournaments more than you do the ones that you did everything correctly, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. Especially, and people don't realize the mistakes that are made in the kayak fishing scene. Like in a bass boat, you lose them, but a bass boat, you have such a better base. When you set the hook in a kayak, you feel like you're getting in them. And, especially frog fishing or, flipping, I mean, you lose all that leverage. When you flip a mat, especially them Florida guys, I know they can testify to that. When you flip in something crazy and you hook one and it pulls you straight up in there, I mean, you're just giving that fish slack or, you're losing a lot of pressure on that fish. And, I mean, that's one thing I know for sure is kayak fishing's got so many highs and lows. I mean, it's
yes, sir.
I mean, it's like a roller coaster ride, especially with me in a kayak. That's why me and my wife told me to, get a GoPro. And, I actually lose my mind out there in a kayak. When I lose one, it's just like I have a come apart and I have to like, all right, Coley, just calm down, just chill out. I have to take a second. You know what I mean? So I just go crazy. I get so mad. But that's what makes it fun, though. I mean, if we didn't lose any, then it wouldn't be worth it.
It wouldn't. Do you have a GoPro now?
I have one, but I'm trying to figure out. I'm not really good with like the technical stuff, as far as like wiring and stuff like that. So I've got a GoPro and I've got batteries. I've got a Dakota lithium battery. I want a little 12-volt 10 amp that I want to put back there. I just got to get it. I mean, if I got my pole in, my wife bought me a pole for it to go behind me. So I'm just trying to get all that figured out.
Hey, man, believe it or not, it's going to help you out a lot because I usually run 2 to 3 while I'm out there, and it helps you noticing the mistakes or the stuff that you can clean up. I actually had Conrad Vanetti hit me up a couple times, well, once actually, but I was going through a period where I was losing a lot of big fish. And, I hadn't done my study on my videos because I was just being lazy about downloading them and going over. And he hit me up. He was like, "Hey, man, I noticed in a couple of your clips that you put up in the last few weeks or whatever that you're poling high. You're having your pole real high when you set the hook. And I was like, went back and looked at my videos, and I was like, sure enough, man, like being able to go over and look at your video of yourself fishing, man, you're going to be able to see things that you can improve on or make better or make it not so easy for you to lose, because just 100%, like you said, setting the hook in the kayak is completely different than setting the hook in the boat.
Oh, I know when I go out in the boat sometimes with a friend of mine, I mean, I'm throwing side armed and I'm throwing weird angles and stuff like that. You know, he's throwing over the shoulder and I'm just like, man, I haven't thrown like that in forever. You know, because I got all this junk behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, he's setting the hook straight up. You know, I've set the hook more to the side, and he's like, why do you set the hook like that? And I'm like, man, I got rods and a net behind me and a flag and everything else. And I don't know how many times I've set the hook straight back and hit a couple rods and, you know, lose a fish. And I just like, oh my gosh. And I know one thing with me is, I know a lot of guys can probably say this too, but like when I lose a fish and then I lose another fish, I feel like it just starts going downhill for me. You know what I mean? It's like you're fighting to get out of that hole. You know, because like, oh my God, I've already lost two, and then everything starts going wrong. You know, like you miss one with the net, or you knock one off with the net, or one
you
falls off the board. You know what I mean?
Cast it into the tree. Your casting goes to crap, and you're putting it in the trees. Yeah, I know that feeling so well.
I mean, it happened to me in this last tournament we had, our home tournament, and thank God it didn't matter. But I'd flipped up in some grass and hooked one. And it was a big one. I mean, it really was. And I thought I had her. I mean, I thought, oh, yeah, she's pegged. And I get her to the kayak. And I don't know how it happened. I really don't. Me and my father-in-law was talking about it and a couple of my buddies. I mean, I hit that fish with my net. Like I had my arm up past me like an idiot. And I went to net her and hit her. I mean, I don't know. I guess I hit the jig perfect. I mean, I don't know how, but the jig pops out of her mouth and she just swims right off. And I just, at that moment, I almost had Mike Iaconelli just broke the rod. You know what I mean? I just wanted to snap one. I was just like, man, I don't know how I did that, but
yeah, I've definitely done that one before.
That stuff happens, man. That's what's crazy is so many people have lost so much money, or several places by one bite or one fish, and sometimes that one fish is so critical, like. You knock it off. I mean, that might be, some of these events, it might be difference between, $1,000 or $1,700 and $4,100.
Yep.
So that's
exactly
crazy. You got to start it's like, as the day goes on, people get fatigued and tired in the sun, and, you're going through the motions, and you hook one, and you halfway set the hook, and you're going, just going through the motions, and you lose them, and you're like, man, I could have been better. I could have, been on my toes more. You get kind of get complacent, when you're out there. So,
and yeah, man, absolutely. And to bring it full circle, like we were talking about, the other thing you had brought up that I wanted to make sure we talked or mentioned again was you talked about what you learned in pre-fishing, and you said you didn't have a great pre-fishing, but you did say I learned where not to fish, and that's a huge thing in pre-fishing that I don't think a lot of people realize when they're pre-fishing. Yeah, maybe you had a terrible day, you had one or two bites, but I tell you what, you're probably not gonna go back there and fish those areas on tournament day. You learned you cover some water and you learn where not to go.
Well, my biggest thing is like going into events. I try not to practice a whole lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know some people might be like, well, that's stupid, but I mean, I'm going to practice, obviously, but, like some people take off a week or, they'll go down and they'll fish, Sunday through Friday. And, sometimes I almost feel like that's doing more harm than good because, I've caught, a couple 90-inch stringers. Well, are you going to do it Saturday when it matters? Because, some of the people that have a really bad practice, I mean, this even goes into bass boats. I mean, I've seen time and time again where people, on both sides of the fence, bass boats and kayaks, have a horrible practice, and they show up on tournament day and absolutely crush them because they scratch what they did in practice, or like, well, I had a horrible practice, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw this. I'm going to go and do what I like to do and see what happens, see where the cards fall, and end up having a really good day. And, I mean, that's what happened to me at Pickwick, and it's happened to me several times before. And, I mean, it happens to a lot of people out there. They just, I heard a lot of people up at the the Susquehanna River at the Hobie BOS event. They had several people said they had a great practice. Several 90-inch days, and just didn't have that again on Saturday or Sunday. And it's like, I almost feel like when you're fishing the kind of stuff that they fished, and several other lakes that kind of set up like that river, or they fish kind of small, like they're not like a Lake Gunnersville or a bigger lake like Hartwell or something like that, where you develop a pattern and you could just fish that pattern on several different places. But like you get like this Coosa chain lakes, and like several places in Alabama, just for instance, in Tennessee and Georgia, you can only pre-fish that body of water so much before you just start doing more harm than good. Sore lipping them and showing them too much, kind of thing. I mean, that's just the way I've always looked at it.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you, because this past NC, I did it. I took off 12, 13 days, and I had probably 4 or 5 days of pre-fishing, and everywhere I went, I probably hit 4 or 5 different ramps. Everywhere I went, I slayed them in practice. And all that I realized after it, all that did was made it so too hard for me to decide a game plan, because I caught them at pretty much every ramp I hit, and it was a negative for me. I've since figured out that 2 to 3 days of practice is all I need for myself prior to a tournament. Anything more than that, I'm doing more damage than good. And I've stopped I'm no longer the guy who catches, goes out and catches the limits every day of practice. I try to focus on catching a few fish in the area just to see what size I'm on. And after that, I don't really stick every fish. I'm not the guy who goes out and cuts hooks and bends hooks up and all that stuff, but I'll shake them off. Obviously, you're throwing a moving bait, crankbait, you're probably not gonna be able to do too well shaking them off or not sticking them or whatnot. But I mean, that's how I look at it. I agree with you, man. Having too many practice days can be a negative for some people. For some people, it makes it, it does the positive for them. But you have to figure that out for yourself, how it works for you.
Oh yeah, if you got enough fish and you got enough areas and you can practice all week, more power to you. I wish I found something like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'll tell you one thing with this season in KFL, every match we fished, with the exception of one, I've absolutely killed it in practice. And I went into the game expecting to kill it during the game, and during the game was completely different bite than I had in practice. So, I went into those games super high, confidence straight through the roof, like, oh, I'm about to go out there in the first hour. I'm gonna have 5 or 6 fish, maybe 10 for the limit. Nah, I'm going out there, keep my head down, fish hard, and pay attention to my, what's going on, what the fish are telling me. But so we're done with practice. You didn't really do too well, right, in practice for your standards or whatnot. So going that night, what was going through your mind, and what did you decide that night? Hey, I'm just going to scrap it and go fish new water, or what?
Yeah, that was kind of my game plan. I was like, I stayed up till like midnight just looking at some apps on my phone, looking at some maps and checking the generation schedule on Pickwick, and I knew there wasn't going to be a lot of current coming out of there, and I know those fish. That lake fishes a lot like the Coosa chain. They relate so much to current, even the largemouth. It was crazy where they would position, and just, how they would set themselves up. There was current and that grass. It was cool learning it, on the fly, and, had a bad practice, and then just sitting in the room, just talking things over with my father-in-law. And he was like, hey, we really don't got a whole lot to lose, because we were just trying to qualify for the Bassmaster Classic. We weren't going into that event with, really high hopes of, finishing in the top. But, I told him, I said, I'm just going to go. I picked an area out on the map, and I said, I'm just going to go for it. I was like, I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to fish what I want to fish, whether they want that or not. And I'll just keep adjusting on the fly. And then, if that don't work in an hour or 2 hours, I'll change it up and go try something else. And, really, it was really just a practice day, really. That's really all it was.
Okay. So tournament morning, you're on the water. What is that last minute takes forever before you can get the first cast. But so tournament morning, man, how'd it go? Like just you say I'm gonna fish my strengths, six or
Yeah.
what was the lines at 6 a.m., 6:30, something like that?
We could first cast was 5:45, I believe, and then you could launch at 5:15. My father-in-law dropped me off at another ramp. He went down to another ramp. I just sat there and chilled at the ramp on my phone and hung out. Went through, what I wanted to throw in my head, and was checking my tackle and stuff, and talking to a couple of guys. And I was paddling, so I didn't have a pedal or a motor. And I knew I was kind of going to let everybody kind of go where they were, wanting to go, their separate ways or whatever. I didn't, want to be right on top of anybody. And I had this place picked out. It had a bunch of cypress trees, but it was kind of mixed in with grass. And I knew that there was a little bit of current that was going to come through there. So I just, I'm just going to. There were several different stuff I could fish in there if that wasn't happening, And the frog bite really just wasn't on yet. It was the grass really wasn't really matted. There was a lot of we call it willow grass. So I zoned in right on that, and I fished some of that stuff, but. It was just I figured out that when you found them like they were in little schools. They weren't like the largemouth I caught; they were by themselves. But the smallmouth, the couple smallmouth that I caught, it was like I caught one and then I caught another one. Like they were, right in there together. So it wasn't. But that's pretty much how it went. I just kept covering water and that looks good, and I'd go fish it. And what ain't happening. I'd go over here and fish this, and that lake is a beautiful lake. I mean, if anybody watching or listening can go to Pickwick, I would recommend going. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. It looks totally different now than it does in the spring. I've seen it in the spring. I've been up there in the spring just not fishing, and I've stopped and looked at it, and it's a monster in the springtime. I mean, as much water as comes out of that dam, I mean, it is a beast. But this time of year, there's not as much water coming out of there, and it's almost like it's two different fisheries from spring to summer. So
yeah, it looked like you had a pretty mixed bag, man. I saw good smallmouth and good bass, good largemouth in your bag.
yeah, I was about 50-50. I had a 20 and a quarter largemouth, and I had a 19 largemouth, and I had an 18 smallmouth, and then I had a 16 and a half, I think, and then a 15 that I couldn't get rid of those two. I lost one that was probably I had one smallmouth jump and spit it. She jumped like 2.5 foot out of the water and shook off. She was probably 17, 18 range. And then I lost a largemouth right at the boat. I mean, right at the kayak. I mean, she looked like a Walmart bag coming through the water. She was like dead weight, and she just come off, and I was like, I mean, she wasn't even fighting or nothing. I mean, but she had a bunch of grass over her face, but she come off. So,
at what point during that day did you realize that you were right there, that you're in contention to have a good finish?
Well, I mean, it started out, I was like, well, I got that 19, and I thought, well, I just need 4 more. I was like, that, I'm just fishing 4 more now because I had it in the first 30 minutes, and I thought, shoot, I can go get 4 more. And then I started catching dinks, and then I caught a 20 and a quarter largemouth, and then my next cast I caught 18 smallmouth. So that tells you something. I was kind of down on myself because I was like, well, I'm doing all right. I'm holding on. And at one time, I looked at the leaderboard and I was in like 8th or 9th, and my father-in-law was in. I was in 9th, he was in 8th, and then I dropped to like 18th, and I was like, well, I'm still going. If I stay, 30 or above, at least I'm going to get a check. And then, so I was like, well, I want to do better. I'm super competitive, so I just, that wasn't good enough. So I just kept covering water, and it was like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock when I caught that largemouth and that smallie on back-to-back cast. So I was like, well, that really turned my whole day around. Like I was, killing myself as far as I was just power fishing 101. I mean, I had never fished a Senko and a wacky rig as fast as I was fishing, and spinnerbait, and I just kept slinging and slinging and slinging, and I was like, man, at some point I got to run across one, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have a 19 and a bunch of dinks, and I was like, God, I done had it in my head. I just wasn't around the quality fish, and it just that one right move, that one right decision, just turned it all around for me. And once I got that momentum going, I thought, I still got time, I was like, I still got plenty of time, and I just kept on and on and on, and just never hit that other big one on the head. I had 3 good ones, but that's how it goes, Just don't stop.
You're right. You can't sneeze at that finish. Second place. How many? What, over 100 and 120 in that tourney?
I think it was 85. I think 85. Yeah.
I mean, can't sneeze at a second place finish in that tournament, man. Again, congratulations on that. Huge finish, and I think you guys had 3 of your other teammates in the top, the caster check or something.
So it was me. I got second. Lance got 5th. And hats off to him. He had not fished that area that he fished since like 2009. So, and he didn't even get the pre-fish. He rolled in the night before, and so he just went off, what he does best, and previous knowledge. So hats off to him on that one. That was cool. And then he got 5th. I want to say Tim Perkins got 8th, and then Dan and John, I think, finished, I think it was 18th and 20th or something like that. So every one of us that fished it all cast a check. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the Alabama Hammers dropping the hammer, man. Awesome, man. Goes to show you just how good and versatile the Hammers are. So just to get back to the KFL, you said you knew that you guys would be up there for the season because you knew the people on your team and what y'all were capable of. So what do you think? What are you calling for the rest of the season? Are you not ready to say, hey, we're going to finish 6-0? Or
it's very possible. I believe in every one of the guys on the team. We've all done very well in some tournaments, and I think another thing for us is we're good at home, and that's hard in itself. Like, you hear guys like, oh, you're a hometown guy, or, it's your home lake, you should do that good, stuff like that. Well, you look at several tournaments where somebody's been picked to win because they live, right next door or on the lake, or have a lot of time on the lake, they choke, or, they kind of like what I said earlier, this is what they should be doing because I live here. And, you come in with a different mindset and, open, game plan and end up beating them. So, I think that's one thing that our team can do as far as, we're well-rounded. Every one of these guys are hammers. They're absolute sticks in their own way. And I think, Florida's going to be a tough one. And I think Indianapolis ain't going to be no slouch neither. I actually heard that Indiana got here maybe one of their guys or a couple of their guys got here Sunday night. So, they're putting work in. They're here all week. So
it's funny you say that, man, because we got Florida this week and talked to them. I was like, when you guys getting in? They're like, Thursday evening, whatever. All of them like, they're going to get around on Thursday. So, but I had one of my teammates out, scouring the water, checking some of his stuff out today. And lo and behold, he runs into one of the copperheads on the water. So I was like, oh, y'all getting here Thursday, huh? All right. So they're out there putting in the work, trying to figure it out too, man. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I heard a couple of the Indiana guys were doing pretty good in practice, and that's good. We knew going into this they were going to be a good team, regardless of them being 1 and 2. That don't matter. I really don't pay attention to the whole 3-0 thing or 1 and 2. You just got to look at the guys on their team. You look at all these guys on these teams. No matter what team you look at. You look at them and they're all names that just about everybody knows. Or they're really good fishermen. Good people. And they're good at their hobbies. They're good at what they do. They some of them make a lot of money doing this, and and that's what me and a couple of the guys were talking about is Indiana's coming down here to win.
Yes, sir.
We knew that, so I'm off all week too. So
Yeah, I heard that Andy. He's off all week too.
Yep.
All right.
So we'll see how it goes. We've all been, looking and pre-fishing and stuff like that. So we've all got our game plans of what we're going to start out doing. That may change.
So I looked at the numbers, man. If you win this weekend, pretty much clinch the playoff berth. Whether it be first or the wild card, you pretty much clinch that playoff berth in the South.
Well, let's just put it this way: it won't be from a lack of effort. So we're going. If they come in our house and beat us, hats off to them. I know they got some good guys, and I know that they can fish and hold their own. So we're looking forward to meeting them Friday and everything, because they're partner with the Yak Shack and Pelham. So we're gonna meet up with them, I think, for dinner on Friday night. That'd be cool to meet them. But we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds on Saturday.
It's the game of the week, man. Game of the week for KFL this week, man. The Indianapolis Knights coming to town to try to knock the Hammers off their high horse. You know what I'm saying? Should be good. Should be fun to watch, man.
I think it's gonna be a good tournament. I really do. I think that with them having a week of practice, there's no doubt in my mind they're not going to figure them out. I mean, you look at the guys they got on that team. I mean, they're very capable of catching them, and we're not going to take it lightly. So, I've been out, looking around and doing a little bit of fishing here and there, just seeing what's going on. Not too much. So we'll kind of let everybody else do their thing, and we've been communicating. I think that's another big thing. You look at the kayak scene, and we're all individuals. We all like to kayak and do our own things by ourselves. But I think this team format's so cool is because, you start building a relationship with these guys. We've known each other for a while, and you start, depending on each other, like, hey, what are they doing? Or, what's going on? Or can you go look at the lake? Or, just kind of relay the information. You know what I mean? You can kind of work together, and I think that's what's cool about it. Is, somebody may have an off practice, and somebody may have a good practice, and I think that's what's been so cool and helped us is I feel like we're all pretty close. We all talk on a regular basis. And everybody has a game plan going into Saturday, and if that don't work, I'm going here. If that don't work, I'm going here. So
yeah,
I feel like we're gonna be all right.
That communication is huge, man, and something you never would have thought of, really. If KFL didn't come along, really, I never would have thought to be communicating with other anglers the way we do with our teammates. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And by proxy, you're learning from each other, and it just makes the competition even more when you step into those local tournaments. And we're not teammates today. It's I'm trying to take you down. You're trying to take me down.
Yeah, I know it. So, Chuck Weiss, he's leading the AOI in a local club, and I'm trying to qualify through, 2 clubs to fish for state. And me and my teammate Lance Coley, we ended up tying in state last year, and he won the tiebreaker. So I'll end up seeing Chuck and probably Dan at the state. We'll be fishing against each other, which that'd be cool. But yeah, that's I agree with what you're saying though. You're gonna it's cool being on a team, but we all fish against each other at some point in time. So
yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, man. And it's funny because this whole team aspect has been very, very refreshing for myself, and a lot of fun, man. I'll probably have a couple of the copperheads, one or two of them here staying in my house for the weekend, so they don't have to spend money, getting a hotel or camping in their truck or whatever the case may be. And we'll talk some trash. We'll have some beers. We'll eat some food, and when we get on the water, I'm trying to cut all your lines and put a little pinhole in your kayak. So
yeah, that's cool.
Nah, man, it's been fun, man. Like this season has been fun. It's brought a different light to kayak bass fishing, tournament kayak bass fishing for myself, and it's just been a lot of fun to do, and it's been refreshing because it's completely different than what we've been doing, years prior.
Oh yeah, it's definitely came a long ways, and that just goes to show that sky's the limit. we can all fish our individual stuff, and then, we can all come together as a team and, fish, for one goal, you know what I mean? And that's just to win as a team. And I think that's cool, and it shows a lot about the people that because you become friends with these people, regardless if they're on a different team or if you're on your home team or whatever. I mean, we're all, at the end of the day, just trying to win. I mean, that's all it is, and it's no hard feeling. You might talk some smack. I like to talk a little smack, too. It's all fun,
sir.
But, that's just – it's cool to see how far this sport has came, and just the year alone, and especially the last, 2 to 3 years. I mean, it's just blew up, in my opinion, and, I mean, I can't wait to just see it get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean,
yes, man. Yes, sir.
I mean, it's gonna be a cool ride to see, in 10 years. I mean, just think about in 10 years, where's it gonna be?
Exactly. Who knows? Who knows? Where will this thing be in 10 years?
Ain't no telling.
I mean, we could be, Monday night kayak fishing league, CBS baby. The Norfolk Privateers, and Jigmaster taking down Coley McGowan. You know what I'm saying? That's real. And we see you in the playoffs. Unfortunately, it's already there that we'll probably have to, if we have to see you in the playoffs, we have to come to Neely Henry, and I'm not looking forward to that.
Hey, listen, we got good food. We got a ton of grass. So, I mean, you could get lost in the grass. We've got grass for miles. So, I mean, that's the thing about this lake. We all talked about it, in the beginning of the season. And, I mean, like I said, everybody's got their strength. But, I mean, you look at the elites, you look at everybody that's came to Neely Henry, they come here for a reason. I mean, like you go to Gunnersville this time of year, you're going to catch them offshore. You're going to catch them on ledges primarily. You might get on a topwater bite in the first hour or 2 hours or whatever. And, you might catch them on a frog. But, I mean, you come to Neely, I mean, we've got fish that live shallow their entire lives. I mean, those Indiana guys, if they like to fish offshore, I mean, there's that option here. You like to fish slow, there's that option here. You like to fish rock, there's that option. You like to fish grass. I mean, you can make the best out of what you want. I mean, and honestly, Saturday, I mean, the four of us are, at some point we're going to be fishing the same stuff. But I mean, we're going to be fishing a lot of different things by the end of the day. I mean, we got offshore guys, we got, guys that like to flip and fish grass. And, that's just, I think that's what's good. And I know they're bringing, their best down here, and, hats off to them. And I know they're going to fish their strengths, and they've got guys that's probably just as versatile as us. And I think that's what lines this matchup good is, regardless of the record, nobody don't need to look at the record on Saturday, because, I mean, we might as well be 0-0 across the board for both teams, because, I mean, it's going to be a good tournament.
I don't think nobody needs to look at the records, period, because I agree with 100% what you said earlier. That's one thing I love about this format. One thing I love about KFL. I've noticed that every team, there's no slouches there's no teams that slouch. Like, regardless if you're 3-0, 4-0, or 0-3, none of these anglers are bad anglers at all.
No.
So it's just like NFL, man. It's like, I say like NFL, but only in the sense of the quote, any given Sunday. Really, everybody in this league knows how to fish. They know how, in my opinion, they know how to fish. They know how to catch fish. They know how to pattern fish. And you never know when one guy gets clued into one thing that clues him into big fish, and then he passes that on to his teammates. And, that 150-inch lead you had, or whatever it was before, goes to a deficit because, he clued them in, he figured it out, and then next thing you know, they're over 200 inches or whatever the case may be.
I mean, and at the end of the day, that's why it's fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen. I mean, we could go out there Saturday and have a bad day. I mean, like several good teams have already had this year. It's not that, I'm sure several teams have had a lot of mistakes happen, or, lost fish, or, went out there with a game plan and caught them good in practice and just didn't catch them on tournament day. And, the better team won that day. But that doesn't mean, they're any less of a better team.
Exactly. Which makes it exciting, period. And you got the personalities. You got the big personalities. I'm looking forward to this weekend because And then, I'm gonna put it out there. He's already trying to put the I don't know. He's trying to make it, so he doesn't have to go through it. But Mr. Conrad Benetti may not make it. He said, "I may not make it. I might not be able to get off of work." Man, bro, you was talking all that trash a couple months ago about you don't come up here and put Jigmaster in his place. And now you're talking about you might not come. But like that's what I'm saying. Like the big personality is Conrad, man. Like every league, every team, like whatever the case may be, has that type of stuff, and it just makes it more exciting. The drama, the big personalities, the quiet guy who just goes out there and slays them. Y'all got that? I remember y'all got the hitman on your team. Yeah, I remember that. And it's just fun, man. I want to make the playoffs so bad, just so I can either come to Neely Henry or have to go down to Texas and fish against. Per the standings, how it look right now, we'll be fishing against the Bandits. That would be awesome. I mean, Jim Levere, hammer, man. Dude's motto is catch 5 and then catch 100 inches. And for the most part, he's done that every time I've watched him. Yeah. So of course I want to go down there and I want to catch 5 and then catch 110. I mean, win, lose, or draw. And then I'm getting to fish places I never fished before. I've never fished Neely Henry. I've never fished St. Clair. Detroit team, for me, in my opinion, I did not see this coming at all. Detroit team is killing it. And it's awesome, man. It's awesome. The things that are just coming from, that are just shaping up to be just naturally. I didn't see you guys coming. I knew you guys were good. I did my homework. I knew you guys could fish. I didn't see you guys coming out and just rolling. And you guys are rolling on a high right now, and I'm hoping you keep it going that way, because every team's gunning for you. You're in first place. Every team's going to be gunning for you when you're in first place.
Yeah, that's me and Jeremy, Becker were talking, and he said, when you're at the top, you've got a target on your back. It don't matter who you are or what. You're sitting in that number 1 seed, and you got that big crosshair right on your back, and everybody wants to knock you off your high horse, like you said. And, and hey, we're fine with that. And we've all talked about it. And, I think one thing about our team that I can personally speak for is we handle pressure very well. Like, going into this thing, we're like, nobody's picking us, but nobody knows us. You know what I mean? Like, some people knew of, some of the guys on the team, but, as a team, I feel like we were very strong and well-rounded and versatile and open-minded. And I feel like that's what you got to have in this format. And, we've already got guys planning for Florida. We've already got guys talking about the way at Indiana. I mean, we ain't even got this tournament over yet. And we already focusing at the next one and the next one. You know what I mean? And
yes, I do. And you're the captain, like the captain, right? Team captain, or is our owner?
John Lessman's our team captain.
Oh, John Lessman, man, I know because I'm the team captain for Norfolk, and same thing. Those guys are looking at these. I'm like, hey, man, great. I'm glad you're ready to play. Let's focus on getting this next win.
That's right.
Who we got this weekend? Let's get that done, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, this is our last home game, so I'm not leaving anything.
Is this a morning or afternoon?
I believe it's morning. I don't believe we have an afternoon home game. So,
bro, I haven't had a morning home game. Come on, I just want a morning home game.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it would have been fine with me. However, it worked out. I mean, that's one thing. It was cool about it was the morning and the afternoon games, and I feel like I'm more excited about this Saturday than we have been this entire time. So it's
really
it's gonna be fun. I mean, I've called a couple. Actually caught one this morning that I was sitting there wishing I was holding on Saturday. So I was like, well,
don't you hate that when you catch that big girl in practice?
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna, leave this one here, and maybe she'll be there. But that's the thing, though. It's just this place fish is so weird. I mean, that fish, there ain't no telling where that fish could be.
Yeah.
I mean, so I hope it works. I'm excited because I think it's gonna be a close matchup. I really do. just by my homework I've done on their guys, and
So who are you
or
starting this weekend?
it's going to be Daniel Perry, Chuck Weiss, Jeremy, and myself. So we're gonna see what we can do. Those guys. They're big fish guys. I mean, I told them, I said, well, I'll go out and get the dinks, boys. Y'all just take care of the rest.
That's all right.
Y'all just catch the big ones. I'll go scrap up the leftovers. And we'll see how it goes.
Do you know who's starting for Indy?
I do not. I don't. I think somebody on the team said Sam, and I think Mike, and one gentleman I was looking at it earlier. He was down here and he called a big one. So congratulations to him. Maybe he figured something out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was the thing is, we were worried about Florida coming into this because we were like, we got to get that first win. And against Florida, I mean, I know they're 1-2 now. I mean,
I think they are 1-2. I think so. But I'm gonna verify that for you.
I mean, you look at those guys on the Florida team, and it's like, man, those are some studs. You know what I mean? Like,
they are.
Those guys can catch them. Regardless of whatever anybody says about Conrad. I like him. I like that he talks smack. I think it's cool. But
they're 1-2.
You look at what the dude does. I mean, regardless if he does it in Florida or where he chooses to do it. I mean, he catches them in Florida. Hey,
is that the pose? That's the pose right there, right?
That's it.
No, I mean, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, man. A lot of people think all Conrad is a one-trick pony in the same lake in Florida. But if you talk to the guy, if you talk fishing with him at all, you find out that that's definitely not the case. And yeah, I like Conrad, and I love I love his personality as well. I love it. Like everybody you need that.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's like Conor McGregor in the MMA world. I mean, look at him. Look what he's done. And I mean, you got Conrad screaming Maximo, and hey, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, man. And just my favorite part about this one is first off the whole setup, but I love the fact that I get to do the broadcast part because I'm getting to meet all the anglers and all the different personalities and I wouldn't say getting to know like, hey, we're best buds, but I'm getting to know you guys. You know what I'm saying? All you anglers. And I love that portion of it. It just it excites me because I see the different personalities. You're a person who I want to go up against, right? And share water with and compete against. Chris Catucci, the Godfather. Derek Brundle, Matt Conant. I can go on all these people I want to go up and fish with and fish against and just hang out with, the nights before the games. It's just
you look at Mike Elsa for instance. I mean, like he is a absolute hammer. Not taking anything from the other guys, but I mean I heard of him. He won the national championship with KBF. Here a while back. I was there and I was like, God Almighty. He did it. You know what I mean? Like he put it on them. And when I heard his name coming down here, I was like, oh boys, we better get ready. You know what I mean? Because it's. They're bringing their sticks of their own. So
yeah, and
I'm ready to go right now. Is it Friday night? I'm ready to go.
And I think next year you're gonna have a bunch of people. I already know there's a bunch of people trying to get in. I've had people hit me up for our team like, hey man, how do I get on the team next year? I know there's gonna be a bunch of people trying to develop their own teams. The people who are such skeptics beginning is before the season started, whatever. Come on over. We welcome you. Come on over. Fish against us. We'll see how much fun is in this format. And as this thing continues, the money's a lot of anglers care about the money part of it. Money's just going to improve as this shows it's a proven thing. The sponsors are going to come, the payouts are going to go up, and the stuff that we can make happen is just going to keep improving and keep improving and keep improving. And it's all due to all the anglers like yourself and Ken, everybody, all of us,
And that's like you and Greg. I mean, like what everybody's done with this thing is absolutely it's just crazy. Cause when I got asked to be on the team, Lance, went in and Dan went in in depth of, what this was trying to become. And I was all for it. I was like, man, that is like that's different, but it's awesome at the same time. It's to have that team side of things, and I've heard kind of how the playoffs are set up, and the championship, and I'm like, who in their right mind would not want to partake in that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that end game,
yes,
to get the championship is like
that's super motivation.
Yeah, like I just sit here and think of it like, wow, like you did that in 1 year. So hats off, Greg. Like you're the man, and everybody else, yourself and everybody else has helped Greg. And it's just like it amazes me what people can do. It's pretty sweet. I'm just glad. I'm just happy to be part of it the first year. It's special for me. And I think all of our teammates, would agree with me that it's just pretty special. And can't wait to see where it goes. It's just gonna get bigger.
Absolutely, man. And everybody who's doing it right now has the distinct honor of being a part of the first. It's the first of something that's never been done in kayak bass fishing, and you're part of the first. So should this thing get as big as it has the potential to get, you'll be etched in the books as being the first to do it.
Well, championships are brought back to Alabama very often. So
listen here, man. Let's not get into that. All right.
Yeah, we won't get into that right now. But
I don't want to hear no Roll Tide, nothing. All right,
it really would though. It would look good back here in Alabama. That's for sure.
And you know what? Everybody, I know we only have a few people with us right now, but if you watch this later on, or you come back and watch it, I want everyone to submit, because we're still looking for a name of the championship. You know how football has a Super Bowl, you got the World Series, so on and so forth. We need a name of the championship. We're also looking for a name of the trophy. So submit some stuff, send it into the KFL messenger email, or message KFL, message myself, message Greg. Give us your ideas, man. Looking for some creative and some fun, some interesting. This is the first year, so it's going to carry on. So it better nothing corny, man. All right, nothing corny. So Stephen Bell, keep your comments to yourself. All right, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But hey, man. Before we get out here, I want to hear your prediction for this weekend. One, scores wise and spread, and then what do you think is going to be the big fish?
Being I caught a 21 3/4 this morning, I think somebody's going to catch a big one, whether that's us or them. And I think that's what it's going to take. I think you're going to have that kicker. I really do. I think this matchup is going to be pretty close as far as numbers wise on paper. But whoever can get that big one, I think will set it apart. We've been averaging, pretty good. I think the last home game, we had like 170 something inches. I think against Florida, we had like 181, I think. So I don't know. I think I'd like to see us bust 180 again. The weather's not really lining up to do that. It's going to be a little tougher this go around with the weather conditions. We don't have as much current coming through, and it's more. The only thing that is going to help us is it's not going to be extremely hot. I think the high is like in the high 80s, so it's going to be pretty decent. And the rain,
awesome.
The rain stayed out of here, so we got very little rain this week. So I don't know. I think we're going to be, I'm going to say 180 for us. I think we'll pull out the dub on this one. But I think that Indiana's going to be mid to low 170s. I think if they can figure it out, I think it'll be 170s. I think it'll be a pretty close matchup. I really do. And I think it's going to come down to one fish. I think it's going to be whichever team can put that one that puts you over the top that'll separate us. But I wish I was going to say, well, it's going to be 180 to like 50 or 180 to 60. But I just don't. I don't feel it with these guys. I feel like they've done their homework. I feel like they've come down a week in advance. Like, you look at us going to Randleman. We went to Randleman and me and Dan Perry rode up together the day before, and Lance got in late that night. We only really got to pre-fish. Me and Dan and John Lessman fished, a few hours the day before.
Lance killed it on Randleman, right? Lance
Yeah.
killed it. Yeah.
Yep. That was another event. We just kind of fished what looked good and figured it out on the fly type thing. Dan caught a big one. Lance caught several good ones. I think I caught a 19 a quarter and a couple other ones. So I think we're good. I think we're going to be all right Saturday. I think it's just going to be focus on what we need to do and execute. Just get her done.
All right. So I'm going to give you my prediction. I think this is going to be a half-inch match.
Don't say that. I
think this is going to be a half-inch match. I've been truly impressed by what I've seen from the Knights. And I think they're on a mission to get back in the race. And I think the big fish is going to be 20 3/4. And I also think that, like I said, half-inch match, and I think you guys are going to pull it out by a half-inch. And the player of the game is going to be on the losing team.
I like that.
That's my thoughts. You heard it here. I'm putting it out there, people. That's what I think. I guess my official pick is Alabama in this one, but I think it's going to be a half-inch match, and it's going to be a nail biter.
Y'all heard that, right, Hammers? It's time to get to work. Y'all heard that, right? I mean, this man right here is giving us a half an inch. I don't know how I feel about that. We're gonna see on Saturday.
It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. Yeah, go out there and kill it. Go out there and kill it. You know what?
That. We needed that you know what I mean? Go out there and do our thing.
You definitely did. You're like
Perry and Chuck Weiss. They ain't no sleep the rest of the week.
You're like the what year was that? The Warriors went 73-9. I don't know, whatever year it was, you like those guys, and you get to the playoffs, and you're like, I mean, this is all we went 73-9. We're about to coast, man. Nah, you needed that motivation right there. All right.
Oh, they know coasting with us. We are like some hungry lions. I mean, we are chomping at the bits with it. I mean, and I think that's what's so cool. Also, is like every game we're like, we might as well be. I mean, just zero. I mean, we might as well not even have a win because like we're going into this like it's like we got to have this. This is do or die for us. I mean, we've got to have this because every win and if we can beat them by 100 inches, let's do it because I mean that just helps us in the spread. You know what I mean? I think when it comes down because I mean you look at what's behind us. I mean you pull that up and look at the teams that's behind us on the south side. I mean you got the Bandits and you got Florida down there. Don't knock them out just yet. Don't push them out. I mean, there's going to be some major changes in that board, I feel like, before now in the playoffs.
Hey, you know what? Matter of fact, before we get out of here, won't you tell me prediction Privateers, Copperheads versus Privateers this weekend? I'll tell you that what I know is Thomas is fishing. Jason's already here. That's who was on the water. And then John Fox are the only three that I know of are fishing. They said they're only going to be able to send 3, but 4 is possible. Conrad said he doesn't know if he's going to make it or not.
Well, for sure that the John guy, don't take him lightly. So
John Fox, no, not at all.
Yeah, he can catch them. So y'all might want to keep an eye on that guy. Maybe like find out where he's staying, go put a tracking device in his kayak.
John's staying in my house.
Drop your phone and just follow him around.
John's sleeping in my daughter's room. With the unicorns.
Yeah, then I would just get up and follow him around all day and just be his personal photographer all day.
Yeah, man.
But I think y'all will pull out the W on this. Hats off to Florida. Nothing against those guys. I think it's going to be close. But I'm going to say y'all beat them by 10 inches.
10 inches, really?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll give you my opinion. I think it's going to be closer than that because this place is not fishing great right now, but don't get me wrong. I mean, me and another teammate went out and we caught a limit and like literally not talking shit. We literally caught a limit in like 15 minutes. Well, no, probably like 30 minutes. And it was a limit of a 16, 17 inch fish. But
y'all do that on Saturday and y'all going to beat them by more than 10 inches.
I don't think so. I mean, we'll see. I hope so. I hope it's good. I hope it's close. My teammates are probably gonna be like, "Why the hell are you saying stupid shit like that?" But I like the close matches. I like the drama. I like it.
Yeah. Well, so hey, I mean, y'all do what y'all do. That's one thing about when times get tough, having a home field advantage. I mean, well, it's tough.
Yeah.
I've been here before. I know it. I fish here. Like, go find them. You know what I mean? You know where to go. You know where to look when things start going wrong. And I think that's, a thing with Florida is it's not that they're not as good as everybody else. I think it's having that local knowledge because, Florida's a whole different planet. I mean,
Yes.
it is like,
Yes.
it is a different world. So, I mean, we're going to get a taste of that when we go down there. They're going to be like, oh, welcome to our house. You know what I mean? Like,
Look at how many professionals, like great professionals, say, "I suck in Florida." And I'm from Florida. I was raised in Florida, man. So I know that was where I started fishing. And when I left Florida, I had to learn how to fish outside of Florida.
See, that's the thing. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's just different. I mean, I've only fished Florida a handful of times, and it's like, oh wow, this is like crazy. Like, I mean, this is definitely not like back home. It's so I know they're chomping at the bit to climb up. So
yeah, and like you said, man, it's gonna be fun. Before we get out of here, man, you got anything you want to put out to the people? Any disclaimers? Any good things? Shout outs to the family or whatever.
Just shout out to my wife and my kids. My wife watches my little Rugrats while I go fish, and my family for telling me to keep on fishing and do what I love, and have a fun hobby, and just my friends and my personal sponsor, Dugout Bait and Tackle in Marietta, Georgia. If anybody's listening, you can stop by Dugout. Tell them I sent you down there. It's an amazing shop. They can rig you out the kayak. They got a demo pond. They got all the good baits. I mean,
nice.
I wish they were closer. So if anybody wants to demo a Hobie or maybe in the near future there might be some other options, but I know they got an Ike edition, PA14. They've got a Lynx. They got Compass Outbacks. I mean, they got it all. They're Torpedo and Motor Guide. So I mean, Jamie Koza and Steve Owens can hook you up no matter which way you want to go, whatever route you want to go. But our team stuff, I'd like to shout out the Yak Shack.
You see that at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, that's who's back to us as far as our team goes. So the Yak Shack, Indiana's partnered up with them. Pretty cool little showdown, bragging rights for sure.
Oh yeah, nice.
So we'll see, but I mean, we had I just want to thank John and Dan and everybody and Jeremy and everybody on the team for everything they put into this, and Lance and Chuck, and as far as getting sponsors and calling people and talking to people, and just because this thing kind of was like a last minute thing as far as, and I think everybody that wanted us to put their stuff on our jerseys, thank y'all, we appreciate it. And that's about it. Just the Yak Shack's been our number one on our jersey this year. They've helped us out with funding and tackle and batteries and gear and stuff like that. So
awesome, man. That's awesome.
Thanks to them. So
shout out to the Yak Shack, baby.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know where they're located. They got a website. What's their website?
Yeah, it's in Pelham. It's called the Yak Shack. It's in Pelham. If anybody's interested or whatever, you can hit me up on Facebook or whatever, and I'll tell you where it's at, or I can send you the link to their site. And just thanks to you for doing this, and Greg for what all he's done behind the scenes. That I'm sure a lot of people know what he's done. But there's a lot that goes unheard of, and I know all of us can, we appreciate, all the work he's put into it. So
yeah, there's that's awesome, man. Big shout out to Greg, man. There's a shit ton that goes on behind the scene, and a shit ton of good stuff. It's gonna
be worth it in the end.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I just want to tell you that hat. I like that hat, man.
Oh,
is that
a
snapback?
Black one too. I got me I got this at the Dugout. They're a big mega bass dealer, and I went and picked me up. Me and Jeremy made a trip to get a little tackle the other day because
Hey,
I
might have to hit you in the DMs. I want that. I wish I could see the black one because I want I think the black one would be done.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of the black one here in a minute. Yeah,
all right, man.
I got a black one.
I appreciate that. Man, it's been awesome, man. Talking with you, talking fishing. Very, very, very happy to see your success that you've had at one as a personal angler and two as your team's having, man. And I think nothing but the sky's the limit for yourself as well as your team. And I look forward to either facing you guys, hopefully we can, and look forward to meeting all of you firsthand. And as well as every member of every team on KFL, man. Let's get it. Let's make this league our league, man. This is our corner. It's going to be where we make it. So let's mold it. Let's build it up and let's do it. Let's get it. Good luck this week.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'm gonna send you a message when we beat them by more than half an inch. All right.
all right. Hey, I'll eat those words if that happens, man. Hey, everybody who stuck with us the whole time, we really, myself and Coley, myself and Coley, man, we really appreciate y'all sticking with us the whole time. The people who have stuck with us the whole time, man. It's been fun. It's been easy. Coley's a hell of a personality. He's not too bad on the eyes. All right. He's not too bad on the eyes. But and the dude's a hell of an angler, if you haven't figured that out yet. All right, man. Good luck this weekend. And I won't be broadcasting this weekend, but hopefully I'll be on the broadcast while you're on there so I can talk some trash.
All right. Well, good luck to y'all, and y'all finish what y'all started. Don't let them Florida guys come up there and put it on y'all. All right.
Hell yeah, man. Hopefully not. Not hopefully. It's not happening. Conrad, all you guys, you're losing. All right. All right, Coley, man. Have a good night.
All right. We'll see you.
Yeah, man. Hey, that was Coley McGowan, man, of the Alabama Hammers, man. Great personality, great angler, good dude, and he's a brother. Well, I say brother, but I'm not in law enforcement. He's a law enforcement guy out there putting his life on the line to keep all you people safe. That was KFL Tonight, man. Make sure you tune in this weekend to the matches this weekend. It's going to be good. Florida's coming to Norfolk. Florida's coming to Virginia, right? I need all of you to send Conrad Benetti a message and tell him he needs to figure it out how to get off from work so he can bring his ass up here so I can wax that ass. Mike Wimmer, I hope to be coming to the Macintosh tournament. It better not fish like Rendleman, because if it does, I'm going to drain the entire lake of all the water that's in it. And good luck to all the teams this weekend, man. We'll be doing we'll probably doing the captain's meeting, and I want to do a pick'em show on Thursday. So I'm hoping to do a pick'em show on Thursday, where we'll put our picks in for the weekend, and Friday will be the captain's meetings for this weekend's matches. And this weekend's matches have huge implications for the playoffs. I mean, it's getting down to time. I think playoffs start the 28th of August. Is it the 20th? I think it's the 28th of August is wild card weekend. Let me verify, but I'm fairly certain the 28th of August is wild card weekend, which is nuts. We're here already for the playoffs. Teams are sweating it out right now. Teams are sweating it out. I'm one of those teams because we can't lose. We got to win out. We have to win out. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in. Mike, this was a Norfolk Privateer shirt. That was the only reason I held the shirt up there. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Holla at your boy.